pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on to public comment. Anyone from the public would like to come up and speak? Do so now. All right, no movement. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there anything in the consent agenda a board member wants to pull for consideration? If none, I'll take a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Knudsen, is there a second?
Second.
Minkowski, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda passed. On to Tiger time. Let's do it.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to present to you a new part of our operations for PRCE and the fields and grounds. And so we had some staffing changes come about this summer, so we started looking actually this spring at some options just to make our operations more efficient and effective. And one of the things we started demoing and looking at was automated field striping and field painting solutions. So we demoed 4 different types of and companies of these automated field painting operations. They all were a little bit different, but similar in what they did and provided. And ultimately, we ended up on Turf Tank 1. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview, present some of the benefits and how it's going to help us out all across the board. So just a brief overview of the Turf Tank 1. Saves time and money, improves our field quality, will support student athletics, reduce staff strain, and it's environmentally friendly. Again, a little bit more information about it. So it's a robotic field painter designed for athletic fields. What it does is it uses GPS technology for high precision. It's operated via a tablet or a phone, and we have a tablet that does ours for customizable field templates. And it will paint multiple fields across the board for our operations, football, lacrosse, baseball. It also does parking lots too, which is kind of an added bonus as well. So just a little bit about the benefits of it. So manual field lining would typically take 2 to 3 employees working 2 to 4 hours per field. So it was a big time constraint for our staff. It would tie up multiple staff into one field, and to make sure that we were doing it as precise as we could, we would make sure that our staff were trained in it appropriately as well too. With the Turf Tank, one single employee can line a field in as little as 20 to 30 minutes, which is very efficient, effective, and you can actually push the button on the tablet and walk away to do some other operations. We won't leave the Turf Tank unattended, but they could be emptying garbages, weed whipping, checking other things out while the robot is out painting and lining the fields. Another thing is the cost reduction. So we looked at a couple different options with the Turf Tank, and we chose the lease option to try. And through our research and our demos, we thought this would be the best route to go, because it's a yearly cost, and then with that it includes paint. So they actually give us paint. And then also it includes all of the software assistance. So if there's an issue with it, someone will come on site, they'll help take care of it. They'll update the software as we go. Obviously this is a very new operation for a lot of places, and so the technology is constantly changing. So we thought the lease option would be a way better way to start. We can always buy it down the road, but we thought this would be the best for what we have and be the most budget conscious as well too. So we went with the lease option. And then, so for example, we spend about $8,000 to $10,000 a year on paint for fields. This will significantly reduce it by half, which is very nice. And then in our lease, we get $3,000 worth of paint for our fields right now. So it'll be a really good thing. We're gonna see how the first year goes with that as well, and then recheck it then. But also, why it does that is because the GPS guided system uses less paint compared to manual striping, because you have the user error of putting too much paint down on one spot. This is all GPS coordinated, and then it gives the same amount of paint the whole way through, so it's very consistent. And then also because it's so consistent, frequent touch-ups aren't needed as much. And then when we're relining a field, we put it in the same spot, hit go, and then the paint is less again. So it really does have a good material cost reduction for our operations. And then we can store over 45 different field types right in our system. It's really cool. It pulls up a map of our school campus, and then you can drag and set where the field needs to be. And then you run a quick pass to make sure it's in the right spot, and then the person hits paint and it just goes. And then someone needs to be nearby in order to refill the paint as necessary, but sends an alert to the iPad, tells them that it needs more paint or it's getting low, so they can come over, change it, and then continue on with what they're doing. It really is really quick and efficient. One of the things too, before our staff would need to use tape strings, measuring tools, all that type of stuff, that's all stored right in our system. And so we don't have to worry about pulling all those lines and stuff like that, that's where it took like 2 to 3 employees before, which is a huge time saver. And then, we'll go to the next one here. So just a quick little chart about kind of our traditional method and the turf tank one. So setup and measuring would take about 3 to 4 hours with our traditional staff. The GPS coordinated, the setup is minutes. So you walk up there, there's a tripod with the GPS coordinator. You align the turf tank where you want it to start, you hit go, and it just goes. So it's really like minutes instead of hours. And then painting time, the traditional method was 6 to 8 hours, depending on staffing. The turf tank, depending on the field, can do it from really a half hour, or an hour and a half to 2 hours. But it's actually, some of our fields are quicker. It can be 30 to 40 minutes too, once they're already programmed in. And then just staff required, traditional method was 2 to 3 staff. The turf tank one is 1 staff. And it's really just supervision only after they set it up, so they can do those other tasks elsewhere. Yes.
Is this for just one field? We were spending 3 to 4 hours setting up paint time, or is this?
One field.
So like the football field took this much time?
Yes.
Over time?
Yep.
And how many times did you have to do that per season?
Well, the setup is the biggest one, so that's the first time, and then if we would let it go to the point where you couldn't see the lines, then we would need to bring them back in to restripe. So restriping was quicker, but still required a couple staff to do that. Whereas now we can just hit the button and it goes, because it memorizes all the templates. And we can overlay fields. It can be lacrosse and soccer together. We can do all that with it as well too. And we can drag and drop right into the system, right on our school campus in the map.
And it's error-free,
Yes, error-free.
error-free. Whereas as good as your folks are
Yes.
and talented as they are, they're only human and can make mistakes. But this is so precise, it's sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the other ones we looked at was more of it was still autonomous, but it was more manual. Someone sat on a side-by-side and it controlled it that way, but that still took a staff sitting on it while it was striping. So the 2 we looked at that were autonomous and nobody needed to do were the route we wanted to go, so that this was the better option for us as well.
Does this do our logos as well, or no?
It does, great question. So one of the cool things, and I have a picture of it here. So for the Reach camp, our Chad Greenway camp, we actually that was the first week we had the robot, and our staff were able to paint the Reach logo out on the football field, which was really cool. Great addition. So we'll be able to do logos. We can do the hash marks on the football field. Just our options are now a lot greater than what we were able to do before with our staffing time. But yeah, really cool feature of it is that you can do logos. There's so many things you can do with the turf tank. So we're really excited about it. Justin and I have had lots of conversations, our park staff. We're really excited about how it's going to help our operations and make us better and more efficient. And I think just the overall professionalism too of our fields is gonna increase because it is autonomous and it's a robot and there's no human error in what we're doing. Which will be a really great addition to what we do.
Can we put some stickers on it that say Catch Tigers or anything?
So actually, we're going to do a naming contest, and the PRC advisory board is going to pick the name of it, and then we've talked to Crow River Signs, and they're going to wrap the turf tank with its name on it too. So yes, it will have a name here shortly.
That's cool. When does that contest go live and when does it end?
Ends on the 18th, right?
Yes,
Submissions
Ends-
due by the 18th.
yes.
Okay.
Unlimited submissions.
It'll be great, yeah, so then we'll have it wrapped with its name, and it'll be a good addition to what we have, and a fun thing too.
And how do we enter our,
Email in.
say that again?
You can let me know.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not like online, all right.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you did a cost analysis.
We did, yeah, we looked at a lot of numbers. So the lease options, there were two different options for a lease. We went with the cheaper one just to start. So it's $11,000 a year, which will come out of the city budget, but with the help of our joint powers agreement, we have the maintenance agreement between the city and the school. So we'll kind of look at that as we move forward. So it's all funded right now from the city, but it's used on the school district facility. So we'll have those conversations as we move forward. But there was an $11,000 lease and an $18,000 lease. We went with the cheaper one at first just to kind of see how it went. Some of the differences were more paint. They provided more paint, so we were just going to see how it went this first year. And then a little bit more customer service, I think, would be the other piece of it. I don't have it in front of me, but we looked at what would work for our operation. We went with the cheaper one to start. They told us we could always bump up to the next lease option and add more to it later. To purchase the turf tank, it was about $60,000. But then you're on your own for paint, you're on your own for all the software updates, all those things. So we thought that this would be a good test to start, and then we can always look at different options down the road. But we thought with the quick turnaround of our staff leaving, and this was a good time to do with all of our demonstrations, we thought this lease would be a really good start to the turf tank.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I like it. I think
Yeah.
it's cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. All right, on to second and final policy reading, policy series 7, 800, and 900, 217, 400, and 500. Is there a motion to approve?
So
So
moved.
moved. Oh,
Motion by Jakowski, second by Knutson. Any further discussion?
I just have a quick question. Between this reading and the previous reading, do we have any changes?
I think Mike Mossman had asked a few questions. One of them was, could school board members still excuse absences? And that had been repealed as part of that statute, so I let him know. And also, he asked about the bus stop, if there was a sex offender or predator, and could, instead of related ages or like ages be told, could it be everyone who is associated to that bus? So we put any age student instead of like. Those are the only changes.
All right, thank you.
Good.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All the policies passed. All right, and on to acknowledgement. Tenure for probationary teachers, and they are presented on the screen. We'd just like to congratulate them all. Good thing, good thing. All right, Superintendent Dietz.
All right. Starting out with Teamworks, the company that we selected for doing our strategic planning, did come and do a planning session with a few of us and kind of laid out what the next 10 months or 9 months are going to look like to get a strategic plan. The first bigger session is going to be at our work session on the 25th. It'll include all of you, along with all our administrators, and they will be leading that. Teamworks will be, and that'll be during the work session from 5:30 to 8:30. And after that, then there's a whole bunch of other meetings that'll take place, but they won't all have the school board as part of them. So we are on our way to towards developing our strategic plan, which is really exciting. And my staff and I have been working closely with Superior Transportation, as I said last time, in preparation for first day of school. They are planning on sending out postcards and those should go out soon, within the next week, so everybody gets their pickup, drop-off times. And then they also will have a presence during our open house for families that have questions, maybe moved or need something changed or just don't know, didn't get a postcard for some reason or something like that. So that is on its way. And then also I'm going to be helping out at the Tiger Path Fair booth this Friday. So if you're at the fair between Thursday and Sunday and you want to go into, I don't know what that building is called actually, but
Commercial.
And you want to come and say hi to the people who are staffing the Tiger Fair booth, we'd love to have you do that. Andrea's not here this year, so we are all kind of taking over for her. So she's a big part of that, and she wanted to keep it going, so we're making sure that it doesn't have a year off. So, and then also, I started my quarterly meetings with principals and directors today. We are reviewing the start of the school year, what they might need, if anything else, and also looking at each school's crisis plan so that that is up to date and making sure that it's ready to go on day one. Also, I'm looking forward for the welcome back of our staff, which is next week. New staff come, and then the week after will be all staff, and it's always an exciting time, of course. Then the week after that is when students come. So things are starting to come along pretty quickly with the start of the school year. Mike, Scott and I attended the Welcome Back Superintendent Seminar on August 5th. It's put on by MASA, which is the superintendent organization, and the Department of Education. We had several things we went to, but one of them I wanted to share with you. It's kind of sobering a little about educators and hiring and retaining, but it is kind of interesting to hear. 75% of our public schools in the United States struggle to find qualified educators. This is as of like 2023, I think it was. So it's not even the most up to date, but they're going to have more data coming. 50% of staff in public schools in the U.S. say their schools are understaffed, leading to heavier workloads. 38% of qualified teachers in Minnesota do not teach. So if you think about everybody out there that could teach, they're not teaching. 90% of public districts in Minnesota report teacher shortages. And 33% of new teachers in Minnesota leave teaching in the first 5 years. So you might say, what can we do about this in Hutchinson? Well, there's some things that we are doing. We provide mentors, we provide hiring incentives, and we try to tend to make sure that they can ask questions. Mike does a really nice job getting out and meeting with the new teachers. I try to get in their classrooms, and I know our principals work really hard with them as well, along with everybody else. So those were just some statistics I found to be interesting to hear. I will be attending my superintendent workshops in person on August 19th and 20th. And I hope if you have a chance to come to the all-staff breakfast on Tuesday the 26th, you're all invited. It starts at 7:30, I believe, in the morning. And then I also have some negotiation updates talking about HESP. The school board negotiators, district administration, and HESP have met twice. The first meeting, we looked at ground rules, and they were established, along with HESP members introducing some proposed language items. And during the second meeting, they gave us more language items. Tomorrow, we'll have another HESP meeting, and they will introduce any remaining language items that they feel are related to finances, along with their salary and benefit proposal. And the school district representatives will be prepared to respond to the language items and salary and benefit proposals at the September 11th meeting. Also, a subcommittee will meet to discuss new employee placements and seniority. So that's for HESP. And then our local 284, which is our custodians, the school board negotiators and administration, and 284 representatives met on August 1st. Ground rules were established, and then the local 284 presented their complete language and salary benefit proposal. The school district representatives will be prepared to respond to the proposals at the next meeting on September 23rd. Any questions?
I would just like to go back to this Perrier Bus Company.
Yes.
We're going to get our postcards in the next week.
I think they're trying to get them out in the next week. That's their goal, yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure if it'll say this there, but I will most likely get one and my son won't be taking the bus, so are we expected to call them and let them know we won't
I
need to
don't
pick up?
think you're expected to call them and say that. I think they just send them out initially and then they start realizing who's going to ride and not ride after that. But I don't know the answer positively.
Okay.
That I would encourage you to call out there maybe and just ask that if you have that question. But I don't think they expect everybody to call and say who doesn't ride. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Dr. Scott?
Okay, just a couple announcements and highlights here. This, as we're approaching the new school year, the middle school just wanted to remind people that the students and families that the orientation for 6th grade students and those students new, it's gonna be Thursday, August 14th. The orientation time's been sent via email via mail to families. So if you're listening to this and you didn't get something, let the middle school know so that you can get on the list and your child can attend the open house. If students aren't able to attend that on the 14th, the middle school open house is going to be Wednesday the 27th. Our other building open houses are the 27th as well. Wanted to say thank you to all of the hard work from our staff this summer. I think everybody from teachers to support staff to our custodians and administration to making this summer's special education extended school year and our summer programming for summer school a success, to keep students engaged and learning all the way through the summer and be ready for the fall here in 3 weeks from tomorrow, I guess. And then we wanted to recognize that Senator Glenn Gruenhagen had sent a congratulatory recognition letter to our food service department for their receiving the award for full tray farm to school and early care grant that it received, and another recognition from the senator just congratulating for the great work and the continued promotion of that programming and our effort to partner with our local farmers and to feed our students in the school. A couple other things coming up, as Dan mentioned, we're 1 week away. So the next school board meeting, I'll talk about like 300 days until new teacher and support staff week, but we're 1 week away from welcoming new teachers and support staff. The schedules have all been sent to them so they know when to attend, and it's a full week for our teachers and about a half a week for our support staff. So we have 16 new teachers right now that are confirmed. We have 3 more hires to go. Dan was talking about shortages. There's definitely needs for people to continue to go into the education profession and applying for teaching and support staff jobs. We have right now confirmed 4 new support staff hired. We have a couple in the queue and being connected with, and there's, I believe, still about a dozen support staff positions that still need to be hired. So if anybody's listening and still contemplating, just put your application in. We'll convince you to apply and hire you. So available principals and our QComp coaches and Dan are attending a data mining workshop in Marshall on Thursday. We haven't attended this in the past because it's always been the same week as our own data retreat, our student achievement retreat meetings, and our new teacher and support staff week. So we're going to attend that on Thursday. Just be looking at how to analyze data. Maybe we'll learn some new things. We're going to be looking at the state data, which just came out as well, to looking at how we're comparing to the state. I was able to pull that. I can't talk about any of that, but that information is out. It's still being embargoed till the 29th at 8 a.m. But we will be able to look at that data and in preparation for the student achievement retreat that's next Wednesday. We had the Title 1 through 4 application return. There were only a couple questions they had some things about, so I have that completed tonight, so that can be sent back. We're working on establishing our READ Act paraprofessional and teacher training. We do have those dates all set for this upcoming school year, so we'll be having a rotating basis on some of our early releases. We'll be giving this more information to our staff about this for our paraprofessionals that need that training. We'll be having that periodically throughout the year so we can capture hopefully everybody. And then just waiting for the last few hires here. I want to make sure that all of our teachers that need the REDAC training get into the same cohort. So we have to send out to MDE and state specifically who's going to be getting this training and their file folder numbers. So that's all in the works, and just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the preparation for the starting of the school year. It seems like when summer ends, we're doing all of those things from handbooks to scheduling to getting our speakers to the new teacher, new support staff, just our whole workshop week, onboarding everybody, getting all the payroll auths through. It's a lot of preparation, a lot of work to make sure that things just kind of roll for people to start the school year here in 3 weeks. So that's it. So next meeting we'll be talking about how all that stuff went.
Thank you. Ms. Bowl?
Good evening. The business services team is partnering with administration and programming to make sure that we have all of our new hires onboarded and on track for the start of the school year. At the same time, they're busy working on audit preparations, which will take place the last week of September. All of that is progressing really well. A couple of different things that haven't been mentioned. We're working on procedure revisions and some corrections following the 5 MDE audits that we had this spring. Those are also moving along nicely. Last time we met, we talked about the federal administration freezing Title II, III, and IV funds. Congress did release those on July 25th, so I just wanted to circle back and provide an update on that. Then on the state side of things, the update I have is that with what I know right now, the preliminary levy certification is on track for the regular school board meeting in September. However, there's a state computer conversion that's running behind. So typically that levy input site where school district business offices can start to work on the levy data and the formulas and that sort of thing. It's an interactive site with MDE. That's typically open now and has been open for about a week. It hasn't opened yet, and they're telling us at the end of this week or the following week. So I guess why I'm bringing this up is that certification, that preliminary certification may happen a little bit later in September. Just we're waiting to hear how that's all going to track with their first report typically coming out the first Friday in September. I'm waiting to hear if that would be then the second or if they're going to still be able to keep that timeline. It shouldn't have an impact on truth and taxation in December with what I know today. We are also working on supporting the negotiation process. Superintendent Diet provided an update on both groups there. Let's see here. I attended a negotiation and legal seminar in Marshall. It was put on by Baker Tilly and MSBA. It was talking about a lot of the changes in statutes and how that could impact negotiations. We were able to learn more about support that we now have available again for our costing models. And then we also were able to download and have some direction to some MSBA resources for negotiations. I attended a levy process course in Minneapolis, and then at the end of it, I served on a panel where new business managers could ask questions and learn practical application of how all this works. I know I've said this several times, but continue to be very proud of all of our food service staff. As of yesterday, they have served 55,939 meals, so that's breakfasts and lunches combined, during the months of June, July, and to date in August. And then wanted to send out a friendly reminder to stop by the School Gardens Farm Stand. It's open every Tuesday from 2 to 5, and there's a lot of really great vegetable varieties rolling in. And then just wanted to extend appreciation to our technology team because they've completed the new phone installation, copier installation, and I think they're down to the last few devices with Windows 11. So just wanted to thank them and every department that I've mentioned. We feel like we're in a good place as of now for the start of school and to help welcome everybody back.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that I should have said that Local 284 Custodians' next meeting is September 5th. Not just the 23rd, it's actually September 5th and September 23rd. So there's 2 meetings coming up.
Thank you. All right, on to board member topics. We're looking for a resolution. This is going to be a roll call vote. It's establishing and combining the poll places for the precincts, designated hours, and not to be held on a state election. This is our yearly resolution. It does not imply we're doing a vote. This is just in the event we do a vote, that we have them all consolidated into one. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Knutson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pullman. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll start with Ms. Knutson.
Aye.
Lewitton's aye. Jankowski.
Aye.
And Ms. Pullman.
Aye.
All right, resolution passed 4-0. On committee reports, Ms. Knutson, facilities.
Sure. Facilities Committee met last week. Our facilities staff continue to work on some window issues at Tiger and Park. They're slowly coming to resolution through their efforts. As you remember from last meeting, we're going to do a second reading for the new policy involving facilities fee at a workshop at the end of this month, which Justin and others worked very hard on earlier this summer. We had some maintenance done at the bus garage with some filling of potholes. And next step will be pre-treatment of our parking lots to get them ready for winter. There's been some new hires within the custodian group as we had, and some shifting around of workload. There's currently one split shift opening left, but Justin did have a lot of great candidates for that spot. Our food service building is going to be getting a new sign hopefully soon. There's some other projects over there, including boiler updating and AC unit updating that they'll be working on. And last but not least, our facilities group has been dealing with some storm damage issues like the rest of us probably have around the district, but have had that all worked out.
Thank you. Finance, Ms. Pullman.
So we met this morning. We reviewed the revenues, expenses, the checking account. All questions were answered. But at this point, our revenues are at 1% of what we're expected for revenues for the year, and our expenses are at 5%. Now, this is not unusual, but it really highlights why we have a general fund that is at the level it is, because at this point for this month, we've sent out more money than we're bringing in. So this is one of the times of the year that, you know, our account goes down, and it's important that we have funds in there. That's all. Everything else has been covered.
Thank you. Who wants to lead policy, Ms. Knutson?
I don't know if we have too much to add. Yeah, we approved the policies tonight. There's some others that we're working on that don't need to necessarily be approved now. We'll continue to work on.
On technology, oh, stop.
I was just going to say, the only thing that's really taking a lot of time is the superintendent's evaluation that we're redoing, and that's part of a policy. That's taking a considerable amount of time, but we're putting a lot of work into it outside of the meeting, so.
Good. Thank you for the update on that. Technology, is there anyone from admin that can speak to it for the group, or is the weekly update sufficiently good there that we receive?
I don't think there's anything significant. They just talked about the summer, and
Updates with
yeah, I think what he's sending you is sufficient.
Ms. Bowl?
AI focus group, they're working on putting that together when the school year starts again. That'd be the only other piece.
All right, thank you. And we're going to discuss our upcoming board meetings, all the other committee meetings. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Knutson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jankowski. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.